Game week 31 is here, and we all know this is a massive game week. It is a blank game week, so let's see how my team is looking like for this week. But before we get started, you guys should know the drill by now. Make sure you guys leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts if you guys need any help, advice heading into game week 31. But listen, Monday night went very, very well for me. Dango Toro obviously got 8 points. Thiago got himself a goal, and I'm up to 306k, which, listen, is not great. It should be a lot better knowing my standards, but it's the highest rank I've been this season. It's been a very, very difficult season for myself, but the last couple weeks have been a lot better. But anyway, if I get a red arrow this week, none of that matters. So let's talk about game week 31, starting off with the keeper situation. I'm currently starting Dubravka over Verbruggen. Now, I feel like on paper, when I saw obviously my team for game week 31, I was pretty certain Dubravka is going to be my starting keeper. But when I saw clean sheet odds for this week, Brighton have a 21% chance of keeping a clean sheet. Burnley have the lowest chance of keeping a clean sheet this week at 16%. But like, sometimes you just have to go against market odds. I don't know why I'm just leaning towards Dubravka. Fulham, I expect to score. To be honest, I expect Liverpool to score. And especially after that Liverpool performance in the Champions League, the way Slot set them up with their attacking fullbacks, their front line a bit more narrow, I was very, very impressed by Liverpool. So I'm going to go with the Burnley man. Now, the back line, I got Joe Rodon against Brentford at home. Now, is this the most ideal place to play this week? The answer to that question is no. But at the same time, I said this previously, I don't expect game week 31, I could be horribly wrong, to be a high scoring week. I don't think there's enough players with good enough, let's say, offensive potential. And I don't think there's many teams, bar, let's say, Fulham, that I expect to keep a clean sheet this week. And listen, this kind of proves it. There's no team projected more than 1.9 goals this week. And there's only Fulham are the only team projecting more than 40% chance of keeping a clean sheet. So on paper, this should be a low scoring week. Joe Rodon, if he gets me DEFCON, I'm happy with that. Joachim Andersen is obviously someone that I do expect to get, let's say, one of the bigger hauls this week. At least a clean sheet. Hopefully DEFCON. Joachim Andersen has served me quite well in terms of the weeks I've normally needed him. He normally has stepped up. So hopefully this week is no different. And then Virgil van Dijk. Now let's run it back. I have 2 free transfers heading into this week. And obviously in this position, it was originally Munoz. Munoz is not going to have a fixture this week. And I am leaning towards Virgil van Dijk as my transfer in. Why Virgil van Dijk, you may ask? See, I don't normally like recommending previous videos that I've done. But I've done a video 2 days ago talking about, I think it's titled Don't Make These Mistakes. And it's talking about the best place to buy in game week 31 and how it affects your chip strategy. And now relating it back to my team, one of the things I want to be going forward over the next couple of weeks is flexible. In terms of, I might be leaning towards a certain chip strategy, which is free hit 33, a wildcard 35. But is it a lock-in right now? The answer to that question is no. So, if I'm not 100% certain on that chip strategy, I want plays that leave me with a bit more flexibility going forward, if that makes sense. And I explained this a lot in depth in that video, so make sure you guys watch that. If that's the only video you're going to watch from this channel this week, I fully recommend that. But that's why I'm leaning towards Virgil van Dijk. Of course, I would love a one-week partner with someone like a Tete or a Calvin Bassey from Fulham, who I expect to outscore Virgil van Dijk this week. But game week 31, 32, 34, where I might need a player depending on which way my chip strategy goes, Virgil van Dijk kind of fits the boxes in terms of the weeks I need. So I have brought him back into my side. That's how my defense is looking like. Let's have a look at the midfield. Now heading into the midfield. And before we talk about the midfielders, I just wanted to also apologize for this video being out later than normal. Team selection, I don't normally like doing it on the day, but I had to wait until the Crystal Palace result in Europe. Obviously, they won today 2-1. And I'm recording this straight away after the game. And I thought that was probably the best way to do it, just in case Crystal Palace went out and then all of a sudden our chip strategy changes. All of a sudden Crystal Palace versus Man City might be in game week 31. And then, listen, all of a sudden the video is pointless. And we did not want that to happen. So I waited until the result, because obviously that's very, very important in terms of chip strategy. First of all, they're all definitely blank. Crystal Palace versus Manchester City is now likely to go in between game week 35 and game week 37, according to Ben Crellin, who we know is the fixture guru when it comes to stuff like this. So that's what he said. But I just wanted to address that. The midfield, by the way, I was looking at my midfield today and I'm like, this is not a midfield that's actually very, very expensive looking at it, but it's not a midfield that's screaming out points this week. Dango's horror against Leeds away. Like I normally say, Leeds at home is a very, very difficult game. Leeds at Ellen Road, like they make it very difficult. Leeds is slowly starting to get dragged back into the relegation battle as well. Even though they went on a really, really good run before, like this last couple games, Tottenham are looking a lot. I was going to say a lot better, but the last two results have been very, very positive. Nottingham Forest obviously won today in Europe and they arrested players, which is sensational for them. Who else do we have? And then obviously West Ham, who have looked a lot better in recent weeks. So Leeds might slowly get dragged into it, which is why this is a massive game. So I'm not really hopeful of, let's say, Brentford's goal scoring potential to a big enough scale. If we're looking at market odds, Leeds are projected 1.43 goals, Brentford 1.31. So the bookies are backing Leeds to win this game, which is why let's see how this game goes. But I'm still going to have Dango Tara. And I was very, very impressed with his performance on Monday as well, by the way. Shard, I feel, wasn't the best, but Dango Tara really, really stood out. James Garner against Chelsea at home. I know a lot of people will say this is not the most ideal of fixtures. I agree. But this is one thing I would say with James Garner. He has a brilliant chance of getting DEFCON. He takes set pieces. We saw he got a set piece assist the other day in Gameweek 30. And he ranks very, very well with the bonus point system. So I think, listen, it's not an ideal fixture against Chelsea, but Chelsea are coming off a disappointing couple of results under Liam Rosenior. So you never know what sort of game this could be. So I'm going to be very hopeful. I'm going to play James Garner. I don't think he's warranting another, obviously, transfer out. I've got Harry Wilson. I had Semenyo in this position, and I said I'm choosing a midfielder between Harry Wilson and Anthony Gordon to an extent. But you know what? I just can't go past Harry Wilson. I think a lot of people will obviously captain him this week. But more importantly, he's on set pieces. He has Burnley at home. I said it before. And I know a lot of people, obviously, I've seen a lot of people lean towards Gordon. But for me, if I'm talking about plays which are a must-have this week, Harry Wilson will be one of them. Anthony Gordon wouldn't be that for me. I just see the upside of Harry Wilson and I'm like, am I going to take this on? Is it wise for me to take it on? And the answer to that question is no. So I brought in Harry Wilson. Like, it is as simple as that. Tavernier against Manchester United at home. Now this game, I'll talk about him and Bruno, let's say together, should be very interesting in terms of Bournemouth at home are a lot better. And one thing that I realised with Bournemouth as well, and I think Iraola spoke about it heading into the Brentford game when they played them, was Iraola was really, really wary of Brentford's counter-attacking threat. You're playing Manchester United now, a team that's very, very good on the counter with the passes that Bruno can play and obviously the attacking outlets they have, such as Brighton and Wentworth. So, Bournemouth could actually cause Manchester United a couple of problems if Iraola sets up in a certain way that we saw against Brentford, let's say. But again, both teams I expect to score. Let's just see which way the game will go. Again, if we're looking at bookies odds, Manchester United 1.72 goals, Bournemouth 1.4. So the bookies are projecting that there should be goals in this game, which is why I'm hopeful for Tavernier. And listen, Tavernier owes me big time. And obviously Bruno Fernandes, who will be my captain this week to perform. The front two, Thiago against Leeds away is pretty simple. And Ekitike against Brighton away. Do I expect Ekitike to potentially get reduced minutes heading into this game? Maybe, but I still expect him to start now because obviously after this game we have an international break. So I do expect Ekitike to start this game, and obviously Thiago will definitely start before he obviously heads up to the Brazil squad. So well done to him. Those will be my two free transfers, you guys. Munoz out to Virgil van Dijk, Semenyo out to Harry Wilson. There is one other player I was thinking about, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with it, but like I said, if you guys haven't seen the best players to buy video, make sure you guys watch that. But Richarlison allows you to target Game Week 31 relatively well, but also allows you to stay very, very flexible in terms of if your chip strategy changes in the coming weeks. There is a part of me that just wants to go Haaland to Richarlison, play Richarlison over James Garner and see how it takes me from there. It will be a -4, but then it also gives me one person as bench cover just in case anything happens. But I don't think I'm going to do that. Even though it is very, very tempting. And you know what? I would actually recommend Richarlison as a great person to buy. We obviously saw he was suspended for the Atletico Madrid game, which Tottenham won. He's going to start. Relegation time, Richarlison. I think that screams FPL points. I really, really do. There's something about me that really, really wants to go Richarlison. I'm very, very tempted, but I don't think I'm going to do it. Regarding this week as a whole, by the way, I think there's only two major threats for me. I know João Pedro is very, very highly owned. Let's see how he does against Everton. Let's see how Chelsea do first of all against Everton. And obviously Brian Mbeumo. But the problem is Mbeumo hasn't been the best. But I do think stylistically this game suits him against Bournemouth. João Pedro, Everton are weaker at home. They're better away from home, which is very, very interesting. I don't think a lot of people know that. But those are the only two plays that I'm really fearful of hurting my rank this week. By the way, regarding the Harry Wilson thing, I also thought, if you guys are going with Anthony Gordon, by the way, I do not have a problem. Even though I don't recommend it, Anthony Gordon's goal projections are 0.47 for this week. Harry Wilson is at 0.33. So Gordon is projected to score more goals this week. And I just thought that was very, very interesting. Of course, like I said, my personal opinion, Harry Wilson, but I don't want to present a biased point of view. I want obviously statistical data backing that up. And sometimes it's going to go against what I think. And in this case, it does. Gordon is projected to score more goals. So let's see how this game week turns out. This is how my team is looking at for game week 31. 2 free transfers made. Starting, playing 11 plays. And we'll take it from there. Hopefully it's a green arrow. Because obviously blank game weeks normally lead to green arrows as long as you field 11 players. So fingers crossed it goes well. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts on my team.